From the creators of Relevant Magazine, this is the Relevant Podcast.
I used to listen to the radio, but I've got an army of voices in my head. Voices in my head. We used to live in stereo, but I've got an army of voices in my head. Voices in my head.
It's Tuesday, April 9th, 2019, and it's the Relevant Podcast. I'm your host, Cameron Strang, and here with me in our Orlando studios on the ones and twos, our illustrious engineer, my brother, Chandler Strang.
Hello.
On the Skype line from Loverland, Virginia, home of the University of Virginia Musketeers, I don't know.
That's right.
Jesse Carey.
Cavaliers, national champs. Hello,
That's pretty
hello.
close.
There you go.
I always felt like you were probably more of a West Virginia fan. You know what I mean?
On the Skype line
I
from...
don't, but I'm a big fan of coal. I'm a big fan of coal country.
West Virginia.
Coal country Carey.
On the Skype line from Gatorland, Florida, Eddie Big Cat Koffelt.
Go Gators, out the second round. Well done, guys.
And on the Skype line, joining us this week from Brooklyn Heights, New York, podcaster, speaker, author, cowgirl extraordinaire, Annie F. Downs.
Good morning, gents.
What are you doing in Brooklyn Heights?
I am up here because a friend of mine is doing her debut on Broadway tomorrow, and I have some meetings up here this week, so I'm up here for the week.
Awesome.
Oh, yeah, that's the Wicked. Your friend that's in Wicked, right?
She's the new Glinda in Wicked, and tonight is her premiere performance as Glinda, so I'm here for
Wow.
that. But then
That's a
I
big
also
step up.
scheduled some work.
That's exciting.
Isn't that cool? I mean, it's just kind
Broadway.
of crazy. Yeah, when she was 12 years old, y'all, she went to this play and sat in the fourth row, and at intermission said to her parents, "I want to be Glinda someday."
Wow.
And now she is, 15 years later or something. She is Glinda.
When I was 12 years old, my parents took me to a live taping of Double Dare, and I was convinced I would be called in and my whole family would get slimed. And guess what, Annie? Some dreams don't happen, and that story is
Some
really
12-year-old
devastating.
dreams don't come true.
Yeah.
Okay,
Luckily,
you want to
Jenny
talk about
Clays-
calling something? This is weird and totally unrelated, but also a person who works at the Orlando Magic texted me yesterday and said, "Do you remember before the season what you texted me when I asked you how?" They asked me hey, what do you think about the team this year? And I said before the season, I think they're going to go 41-41 and make the playoffs. And they are 41-40, and they're
You're
making the
lying.
playoffs. And they have one game left on
And
Wednesday night.
here's why this is why this is very exciting to me. Is Cameron and I went to Summer League in Las Vegas, Nevada. Fabulous Las Vegas, Nevada.
We did.
A few months ago.
We
and
did.
just
I was
as
about to say, I
almost,
feel like our lives are moving too fast. I feel like y'all just went there.
I know,
Yeah,
but
last
just
July.
as almost as a joke, Cameron bought a ticket for $5. It sounds not like we're out there, slinging around fat stacks. Cameron bought a $5 ticket as a joke.
As a joke. Because the Magic, they had the Magic listed at 10,000 to 1 to win the NBA championship. I'm I'm putting $5
Right.
on that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Hey.
So if they win, I mean, you're
Puncher's
sitting
chance.
on
A lot of money.
$50,000.
Yeah, a lot of money.
Wow, that is a lot of money just for being a huge fan.
It's
$5.
$5. Hey, we have a great show in store for you today, but first I want to tell you that today's episode is brought to you by World Vision and their upcoming initiative, their Global 6K for Water. It's a one-day event where people from all over the world walk and run 6K in their own neighborhoods to bring lasting clean water to children in need. Every step you take is one they won't have to. Now, why 6K? 6 kilometers is the average distance women and kids in the developing world walk for clean water. When you walk or run World Vision's Global 6K for Water, you provide life-changing clean water to one person in need through your registration fee, and then you can raise more money too. So no matter where you walk or run, you'll be celebrating lives changed. The event takes place May 4th, and the whole Relevant staff is running it, and we'd love for you to join us wherever you are. You could join us actually here in Orlando. I know they have big groups in LA and Minneapolis and Phoenix and Dallas, but there's groups running all over the world. Last year, they had 48,000 people participate. I think this year we're shooting for 75,000.
Yeah.
You can find out how to get involved. You can sign up, or you can find a group in your area at worldvision6k.org. If you actually want to come down, I think we have 50 people coming down here to run with us. You can go to worldvision6k.org/relevant if you want to come to Orlando and actually run it with the Relevant staff. It's going to be
You
a lot
guys,
of fun.
listen to this. I am speaking at a conference that weekend, and I had a call with them last week, and they said, we didn't have this planned on Saturday, but we've added a 6K, since you can't go run with your relevant friends, we're going to do
Heck
a
yeah.
World Vision
Nice.
6K here on Saturday and invite all the women to the conference to do it. How fun is that?
That is really cool.
cool.
Now, Cohen, my 9-year-old, is running it. We registered him, and his packet came last night, and we were like talking about it and everything. He's kind of freaked out about running 4 miles, or but you can walk and run and whatever. It's not a race. I mean, it's just for a good cause.
Well,
And-
I'll be running, and I don't do anything unless I do it to win it.
the cool thing is,
Bring
like
myself glory.
when you register, you get a shirt sent to you and also like a racing bib, right? But they put the actual kid on the racing bib that your $50 registration fee provided clean water for. So you meet the kid, you know who he is or she is. And so I got to teach Cohen about clean water, and like we met and talked about the kid that his race is going to impact his life and stuff. And it's just really cool. Like, as a whole family can go do it. So,
Yeah.
you know, we're
Or the whole women's conference can go do it. Whatever.
I love
Like,
it.
I am ferociously training because, like I said, I'm not do anything unless I can win and receive a lot of glory and admiration for myself. And if that means I have to put other people down who are slower than me, I will do that too. I need affirmation.
You're going to do
and I
that
will
either
get
way.
it.
You're going to do that
I
whether
will
you win
get
or
it
lose.
whatever way I can. Okay?
Yeah, right.
I like it.
It's actually 6K to my closest Coke freestyle machine at the neighborhood deli. So I'm going to be participating, but it's for soda.
If it's 6K, it's not your neighborhood deli.
Yeah,
if it
that's
takes you
4
6K to
miles.
get there, that's somebody's neighborhood. It ain't yours, bud.
That's a good
I know
point.
I've said this many times, but the first thing that would happen if I came into just some absurd amount of money, the first purchase I make would be one of those machines where you can where you
Really?
just do the touchscreen and you're mixing and vanilla's going all shooting and everything. Oh, it's the dream. It is the dream, literally, to have one of those. It doesn't get any better,
I wonder how
Yes,
much
it
they
does. I
cost.
want a Coke icy machine in my house. That's way better.
We have a great show in store for you. Coming up later, Marty and Fern from Social Club Misfits join us. They have a brand new EP out called Mood. Super interesting. They're doing 2 EPs. The first one that they just released is like dark. And then the second one will be like light. And then later the 2
Love it.
EPs will be turned into an album.
it's very cool.
But this,
Like John
this-
Foreman's series.
Yeah,
when he
it's
did the seasons.
Cool. And then coming up at the end of the show, we have a special segment. A lot of people have been hitting us up about the thing that has taken the little Christian bubble internet by storm this week, the Instagram account, Preachers and Sneakers. Obviously, a lot of the guys who have appeared on that feed have been on this show, and people are like, what do y'all think of this? We're going to have our friends Prop and Jamie Twerkowski from Trite Love and Arms. If you follow the feed at all, Jamie is a prolific commenter on it. Those 2 guys are going to join us at the end of the show to let's talk about it. Let's,
Can I just want to say real quick, Eddie,
Yeah, go ahead.
This is our Gucci gang coming on to talk preachers and safety. Sorry, go ahead, Eddie.
Now, I don't want, I'll save all thoughts, but Cameron,
Yeah.
you do love shoes. Have you ever been a little worried that one of your favorite pairs of shoes is going to show, like you could show up on that thread? I mean, I don't know what your shoes are, but you do have, you're not a very extravagant person, but you do
but
have
you're
some
not
shoes.
like hype. You're not into like hype beast shoes though.
I mean, I enjoy them. I can't afford them. Nor
Cameron
do
and
I
I
acquire
talked about
them.
this at length last week.
My shoes have been 95% were procured in the Nike clearance
yeah, I was
section.
about to say like you go
Yes.
to the Nike store. And
Okay.
That's not like
Yeah.
you're not going on.
I don't have
Grailed
those.
and-
I don't have
yeah.
those.
I
I've
did.
never
I
bought anything
bought-
from StockX or anything like that.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
was
like-
literally at a Nike outlet store, and
Yeah.
I found like a sweet pair of Jordans, like totally like just like a treasure hunt find, at the outlet. And I was a little conflicted, but I'm like, you know what? I don't care.
Yeah.
I'm gonna buy them. They look cool, and they aren't $900. So
No,
I will,
yeah, I know.
will
I have
procure them.
I have a $100 pair of Nikes, and they're extravagant. I can't believe I bought them.
JD has this really cool pair. I think they're flights, but they're from like I remember them when I was a kid, and now they're had like a reissue, and they're super dope. And I was like, JD, where did you get those? Like those are really cool. And he was like, dude, Marshalls. I found them at Marshalls.
You can find some
Yeah,
stuff at
that's
Marshalls
the
sometimes.
only problem to me with this account is that, well, we can talk about it later. But
Yeah,
we're
okay.
Yeah.
yeah, we'll save it.
Yeah, well,
Because there's a lot of Yeezys at Marshalls. So
Well, I mean, I have 2 pair of really nice shoes that I got to go to an invite only sale and get them for 90% off. If I wear them on stage, someone could take a screenshot and go, she paid and they don't know that I got it 90% off.
They're like, you're wearing like Jimmy Choo's on stage and they're all like
Right.
judging you. I would love for you to be on that feed though. Like it would make
There haven't
us
been
really
any women
happy.
on that feed yet, so don't worry. I've been noticing that. It's just a bunch of dudes. We'll let the dudes eat each other up. Y'all,
Yeah, isn't this an
y'all can
okay
fight amongst
sexism, though?
yourselves.
Annie,
It's
I'm going to
coming up
submit
later.
your picture. I'm going to submit your picture.
I haven't worn either of them on stage yet.
Oh, make it happen. I'll submit it, Annie.
That's just a nice little sampling of what's going to come up at the end of the show. All right, moving the show along. Well, you know what? Let's take a break, and when we come back, we'll do slices.
Cause the days get better when you're here, so I gotta keep in there going crazy, and I just can't get you out of my head. I've been seeing the atmosphere, I can feel it in the air, getting hazy, and I just can't get you out of my head.
You're listening to Khalid with John Mayer. The song is Out of My Head, which is funny because we're in your head right now, podcast. At the beginning of the podcast, you heard Switchfoot with Voices, also podcast themed. Okay, it's time for
Slices.
All right, what do you have, Jesse?
Okay, I have a twofer, but they're both short. I know we got a lot to. We have a lot to get to, but one of substance, one I just really want to talk about. So the recently the General Social Survey, which is a survey that has been doing for decades, that basically looks at a lot of like a variety of demographic information and social information about the American population. It's been going on for decades. They look at it, and there was something really, really significant that occurred in this latest social survey as it pertains to religion. Okay, so there is now a new category that has overtaken many of the major Christian denominations. So evangelicalism, Catholicism. There's a new number one category for religion, for things that for a belief system that Americans now hold. A new number one. Can anyone guess what it is?
I have no idea.
Wouldn't be like agnostic.
It is. It's nuns. For the first
Wow.
time in American history, the people who claim that they have no religion at all are now the single largest demographic in terms of belief systems. That's actually a 266% increase in the last 30 years. So now they account for 23.1% of the population. Now, that's just barely ahead of Catholics and evangelicals, which are just about 22%. But it's still significant. For the first time ever, people who claim no religion at all are bigger than any mainline denomination.
Can I ask some clarifying questions, Jesse?
Sure.
Is it so religious or religion? Like they're not claiming a church affiliation, but they still may believe, or like they're just saying like there's no belief in God in their heart, and that's what they're saying.
Yeah, they don't define themselves. So, like, I mean, it's possible, like you said, Eddie, that they're like agnostic or something, that they think there's a possibility that God exists. But these are people who don't claim to be a part of any religion at all. It's kind of a wide umbrella, but they've been asking this question for 30 years. So it's that's been the constant. And so, I mean, you're talking about it, almost tripling in 3 decades, the amount of people who don't even want to claim any religion at all.
Well, and it's going to greatly increase. I mean, we watch the generational shift stuff and we report on it in the magazine quite a bit, but the funny thing to me about the church is like, we're sitting there reaching kind of 18 to 30s and been screaming for 10, 15 years to the church, like, wake up, they're leaving the church or whatever. And we get a big yawn from traditional church leadership saying, there's nothing new under the sun. Everybody leaves after during college and wander. And then when they have kids, they come back, like in their mid 30s or something like that. Don't worry about it. We've been here before. You know what I mean? And that by and large is somewhat true, except Gen Z coming up, which is up to 22 now. So, I mean, these are college seniors as Gen Z. We just reported, are the least believing generation in history. And I think it was 15% said they have any sort of religious inclination at all. Like 15%, 85% non-believing. Unbelievable shift. Unbelievable shift in Gen Z. They're just, because they're growing up, their parents are Gen X, or even older millennials. or not even older millennials, just millennials. I mean, they're 30, they have a Gen Zer, So like millennials aren't, drifted from faith. They aren't coming back. And then their kids are being raised not in the church. They're being raised with no religious exposure at all. And so they have no.
And this is, this is what theologians and scholars have been saying was going to happen in the U.S. for years, because it's exactly what already happened in Europe.
Right.
It's what happened in Europe a generation ago, right? When we're just one generation behind what happened in Europe when people stopped going to church. And so we can always look east and see where we're going culturally, because they tend to be ahead of us, one generation ahead of us religiously.
I'm sorry, I don't believe
Being
in
said, I love a
astrology.
royal wedding. So.
That being said, you do love a royal wedding.
I just
So
wish
it's not
that-
all bad.
I just wish Gen
Oh my gosh,
Z.
it's not bad at all. I don't want to hear it. I didn't say it was bad.
I was just messing around. I was just playing Annie. Sorry.
I just
Keep
really
going,
love
Jesse.
you. I just, how I feel about Scotland.
No,
I was
no,
like, I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying
No,
it's
no.
to be noted.
No, sorry. All right, Jesse, please.
I was going to say, I just wish Gen Z had, more people in the pulpit that look like them that they could relate to. That was wearing like limited edition off-white Jordans. Like, I feel like,
Stupid.
I'm sorry. It's just a joke. It's a joke.
One thing I'm not playing devil's advocate here. I just am always curious about like if this correlates to the church, like the institution of the church seems to have it be in a shift right now, where it used to be these like the Methodist Church is in upheaval. The Presbyterian Church went through this. Like the term evangelical is, confusing for a lot of people. It used to be a little bit more cut and dry. I wonder, like, if you were really, I wonder if the people that are saying they have no faith really just don't have a name for it because they're just not involved in a church. They're like not comfortable in a church setting.
Yeah.
Like, I wonder really like the state of souls versus the state of just awareness of how to name that which is true. Does that make
because I would
sense?
imagine the amount of Methodists or whatever denominational Christians has gone down significantly.
I wish I had our last issue in front of me, because we talked about this. Like, so the 15% Gen Z thing, the question was why, and one of the major issues is they won't accept the evangelical church because their value system is different. So to them, one of the top values that they have is like equality, justice issues are at the top of the list. And then when they look at the American evangelical church, they don't see a value system that aligns with their own, so they reject it. So it's a decision. It's not like, I don't know what to call this. It's like they're going, no, that doesn't represent what I stand for, and so I don't want that. It's a rejection of.
Yeah.
It's interesting. And in our piece, like it was, reported like, I mean, what is the church going to do with this? I mean, and I'm not saying like, okay, throw the baby out the bathwater. We got to rethink everything to appeal to a new generation. But it's like, fundamentally, the church needs to wrestle with this. Like there is a generation that has not been raised in the church, does not have that context or worldview. The world has radically changed in the last 10 years. The world that they know is different than the world prior to 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And their value system is just fundamentally different. And so like, unless the church somehow finds a way to meet them where they are, it's going to be really interesting to see. I mean, just like thinking about the tangible impact of this, the pipeline, we work with a number, I think there's like 400 Christian universities in the US, and a lot of them advertise with relevant stuff like that. They are scrambling right now because the pipeline of prospective students is dwindling, because that's Gen Z. Gen Z is 15% religious. Christian universities are struggling to appeal to them and stuff. And so it's interesting. I mean, like the fallout is going to be significant, and I think fairly swift in the next 5 years.
There's something to me though that feels like there's still a huge amount of opportunity, right? Because if there's something that cracks the code of here's how to authentically communicate what is real and true, right? Like the basic baptismal statements. These are the things that are true. If someone can figure out how to crack that code in a way that they will hear, and again, it's just like, what does church look like for them? But when that code is cracked, I think it'll be, I mean, I hate that word. I'm not like a big fan of the word revival because I feel like it's like tossed around, but it does seem like it's a little bit on the precipice of that kind of moment.
I couldn't agree with you more, man. I'm an optimist. I mean, there's a lot of people who are looking at these studies and they're like doom and gloom about the future of the church. I completely agree with you. I believe like this can be a positive wake up call for the church, and God is bigger than all of this. And the bride of Christ, it ain't going anywhere. And the church is getting ready for a season of thriving and of new impact at a deeper level, authentic level. I think the me-centered, surface level Christianity that has kind of become the standard, that is being rejected. And I think the Christianity that will emerge from the ashes of that destruction is going to be authentic and real and world changing. And I am excited about this. I'm glad. It's like shake the baby. I mean, we need it. Like, good. Reject
I don't think
what
shake
is
the baby is the exact right phrase you want.
But I'm saying,
kick the dog. Just kick the dog down the street.
Just punch the woman. Just punch the woman.
Hey, I've been in conversations and thinking and praying about this a lot, especially, I don't know, God's put this on my heart in the last few months, especially just like 20 years ago when we started Relevant, it was like there was a void that like in the body of Christ, there was a void that was obvious to a lot of us, and we needed to fill it. We needed to give voice to this new movement God was doing. We needed to wrestle with things that the church wasn't wrestling with, and that was kind of the like the genesis of why we're doing Relevant. There's a new need right now, and God has been burdening me with this. Like, there is an opportunity to do and say something that is not being said right now, and I feel a shift. It's gonna be interesting, man. It's gonna be different. So
the question is, will the church crack the code quick enough for this generation, or will it take? Right? Does it take generations? It's hard. Jesse, I keep interrupting. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, you're fine. Those are good insights. And I think part of it too is what's concerning is some of the old guard resistance to new social value systems that they don't understand. Like, you looked at that, statement that, John MacArthur and his sort of, cronies crafted a few months ago that, was basically social, the impetus of it is social justice isn't the gospel. Don't conflate these. And it was just kind of this big, almost takedown and distancing their, what they see as the core message of Christianity away from values of, fighting social injustice and inequality, where you look at Gen Z and a lot of young people in this country, I mean, as sort of a microcosm, look at the aftermath of the Parkland shooting. These students fashion themselves as activists and advocates for change. And I think the church needs to align itself, not distance itself from the type of activism that ultimately is in line with kingdom values, because it's not saying it's either this or, just the spiritual side of the gospel. It's saying they're the same thing. Our spiritual transformation should inspire us to enact a social transformation. And I think too many young people rightly see the church as an institution that's resistant to social change instead of on the forefront of social change. And I think until the church can really embrace that calling, they are going to have sort of a cognitive dissonance with a younger generation,
Well, and I hate to self-promote, but I mean, it's salient to the point is the resounding comment I've gotten from the new activist that I was never expecting was, I don't go to church. I've walked away from faith. They'll tell me their woundedness backstory. They'll say, but because I'm listening to this and engaging in this issue, I feel like I'm understanding God better. And that was never, truthfully, that was never the point of the show. But the fact that they're engaging in some sort of justice activism, that's entering right into the heart and mind of what God is hoping for us. And so that's that's a really interesting point, Jesse.
And the hard thing is that there are a lot of times it is very clear what the just thing to do is, but it's not every time that it's really clear.
Yeah,
and what a pastor has to face is that half his congregation thinks justice looks this way and half his congregation thinks justice looks that way. And to step into it is to take a side like that looks like a political side when it actually should just be a social decision.
Sure.
We should step into it as a church, but I appreciate and recognize the resistance, not outward resistance, just the internal struggle that a pastor or a church staff or the church would have in taking what is considered a political side when it's actually not.
Yeah, I think partisanship has poisoned all types of dialogue in this country, including from the pulpit. And that's a shame. But I think that, that should be resisted, that people should be able to take a stand on an issue regardless of its arbitrary political implications, because it is arbitrary. One party has decided that this is their issue and the other one's part of, So I think a resistance to partisanship is going to be really essential to, unmarry the church from toxic political rhetoric.
But that means people like us who attend church have to do that.
Yeah.
Right? We have to do that too. And often in conversations that I have with my friends who are not in church leadership but attend church, they do not separate that. They think this party is pro and this party is against, and this party is pro and this party is against. Right. And if we don't separate it as people who attend the church, the people who are looking from the outside in, whether they're going in the building or just having coffee with us, they think the church doesn't separate it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the problem is the church, like what y'all are talking about, this justice and the gospel tension is like, it's not a tension. I mean, literally, Jesus said, love God and love your neighbor. That's it. That's what we should be about. And the American church doesn't model that. They emphasize the loving God, worship experience, that kind of thing. But they don't equally emphasize love your neighbor, which is a justice mandate to be the hands and feet of Christ and to surround yourself and to serve people who are not like you, And
I think that's a strong statement to say the church doesn't do that. I think there's a lot of churches who do
You're
that.
right. You're right.
And who are trying to do that.
But I think the perception of the institution of church is that it's become more focused on the congregants' needs at the moment than society's needs as a whole. Like I'm saying I think
true.
that's the perception. Right. And I think in order to change that perception, we need to do like what Cameron was saying, which is, break down that perceived wall that is between justice issues, social change, activism, and the gospel on the other side. Just tear the wall down between them,
It's all connected. It was like one command. It's like, do this and this. It's not like, do this, stop. It's like both and one's an outgrowth of the other.
Yeah.
Anyway. Was that a
I do have.
slice?
Sorry, that was the quick one. No, this one really quick.
For sure.
This is a palate cleansing.
Yeah, mine's about Easter candy, so we'll be fine.
This is mine's about Guinness World Records. We're going to be okay.
Okay. This is a palate cleansing fun one. Okay, this guy Tim Chardent. He seems like he lived an incredible life. He sadly passed away recently.
Chardent?
The Charlotte Hornets.
Yeah, the Chardent. Tim Chardent.
That's terrible.
He recently passed away, but he lived a really great life, and his family has released an extended obituary that has gone viral. And I would like to read a couple lines from it because this is.
Gosh,
I want
I think
people.
I'm gonna hate this.
I want if something happens to me for you guys to take notes. And I work with a fabulous team of writers and thinkers that can craft an excellent obituary. So I'm going to take a couple lines from this and just
Sweet
Jesse,
Cohen
this
is going
guy
to be listening
died.
back to this episode.
He
someday.
lived a great life. Okay. It begins with Tim Chardent made his last inappropriate comment on March 29th, 2019. They gave his birthday, but they said it was probably 100 too late because given Tim's demeanor, he would have been the perfect weathered cowboy in the Old West or a rough and tumble pioneer. Or it says, or maybe he just should have been Amish. So he had all kinds of adventures in his life, starting when he was at Catholic school. This says he may have met his match. We're not saying the nuns won, but they put up a good fight. We mean literally, he got into a fist fight with a nun. In fairness, she probably started it. So this guy's fist fighting with nuns as an elementary school kid. Okay. He later joined the army, and this is a quote from the obituary. This provided for many interesting episodes and stories, the tensions and demotions, and a few quote unquote run-ins with the law, not just locally, but globally. This is a man who was fist fighting at nuns as a second grader and is starting international incidents as a young man. Tim worked with a bunch of friends and a bunch of morons as well. The family says Tim leaves behind a lot of stuff that his family doesn't know what to do with. So if you're looking for a Virgin Mary bathtub shrine, you should wait for the appropriate amount of time and get in touch with them. It says, a common line in obituaries is he never met a stranger. In Tim's case, he never met a rule he couldn't break, a boundary he couldn't push, a line he couldn't cross, or a story he couldn't stretch. Another common obituary phrase is he'd give the shirt off his back. Well, Tim was prepared to do that too, and he could do it quickly because he always wore his shirt 3/4 of the way unbuttoned, which I'm liking this guy. This guy he was LIVIN.
Why is his family like roasting him in his obituary?
Oh man.
And the final line is, he says he was ready to meet his maker. We're just not sure, quote, the maker was ready to meet Tim. Good luck, God. And finally,
Good luck, God.
Oh man.
I love this guy. And I love that.
Whoever wrote it is great.
I know. And I'm sure Tim, wherever he is there with his robe in heaven. That he's leisurely leaving the front top open, looking down, getting a good final laugh. Annie,
I would say also there's a pretty good chance that Tim wrote this.
Yeah. Right. That's
All
very
right,
true.
to be released posthumously. Like this feels like his brand of jokes.
hey, that's a good point, Eddie. I'm not trusting any of you guys with my obituary. I'm going to go ahead and write one after this.
I've already
podcast.
written up one draft, Jesse. I just keep updating it for you.
Just
so.
with the date every day.
Yeah. Just updating it for Jesse.
Yeah, I have very specific requests about what happens if I die, and I've told Brienne all of it. But one of them is there is someone who I'm not going to tell you who will get up to do like some sort of eulogy, but just tell super fake stories the whole time that no one has
No,
had
we're not
any.
going to let that happen.
No, you'll never know who it is. But I've told this person they're going to get up and they're going to just tell. But I said nothing that really disparages character or freaks anyone out. But I just want there to be mass confusion in the room about like you hiked the whole Appalachian Trail. Like I had no idea you did this. So I want them.
Eddie.
Yeah, that's what I want.
I've told people, listen, punch up the obit. Okay,
Yeah.
just I mean, I did some cool stuff, but make it sound really, really special. Like I was a spy or something. Just figure it out. I'll be dead.
I still think you might be a spy. I'm not convinced that isn't true. That's in my first draft of your obituary.
No,
I think Jesse Carey. I think you may have been a spy.
You may have been a spy.
that's the
Here's a
opening
handful
line.
of things Annie F. Downs thinks Jesse Carey might have
There
been.
was definitely something wrong with him. It could have been that he was.
There was
it could have
definitely
been
some secrets.
espionage.
We just didn't know what they were.
All right, what do you have, Annie?
Okay, you guys. So a bunch of us were sitting around last week talking about Guinness World Records and trying to get one. Because apparently to get a Guinness World Record, you just like have to tell them what you want to do. And if they find it worthy, they'll send out people to watch or record or whatever. Which I don't know about y'all, but there was like no book that was more treasured from the library when I was in elementary school than the Guinness World Records books.
Oh yeah, it was the best.
That was...
We talked about this before, but like they've gotten too fancy. In the glory days, they weren't like a yearbook with shiny photos and glitter.
It was like newsprint.
No, yeah,
it was
yeah.
But y'all
junky.
remember
It was-
at the
it
end
was like
how
a
the
romance
long
novel.
fingernails? There was always a long fingernails picture that used to gross me out.
Okay,
I got to tee this up, Jesse. I know exactly where you're going. The two big fat guys.
Yes,
on the
there's
bottom.
3 things that every real Guinness Book of World Records has. It's one is the guy with the curly long fingernails that has one of them in a bag. One of them is in a velvet bag for protection. He has unveiled one, and you're like, okay. One is like the tallest man in the world. And it's the same picture from like 1946 every time. He's like in some
8 foot
Romanian
tall.
village,
Yeah.
towering over people in like a poorly tailored suit. The
A
3.
poorly tailored suit every time.
I mean, to be fair, he was 11 feet tall.
Yeah,
He's the
yeah,
tallest
they're
man.
trying to
Yeah.
tailor a
They
twin
ran
sheet.
out of fabric.
Yeah, they're tailoring sheets.
And obviously is the last page, the one you flip to first, because it's like, wow, that is awesome. And that is the 2 large twins riding tiny motorcycles down the highway. And it's like, that's the records I want. I want the extremes of the human physique on display in this book. Not these lame, who can juggle the most oranges while singing Zippity Doo Dah on a unicorn on a tightrope. It's like they're just throwing more details in it. It's like, yeah, I'm probably the first person in the world to hop on one foot down my street while just shouting, lines from this dude's obituary. Give me the world record, because I guarantee no one's ever done that.
So that's exactly what's happened. Is there's a guy in North Carolina named Steve Langley who holds 6 world records, but they all have to do with blowing bubbles, you guys. There's some sort of use of bubbles. So, for example, the one he just got, congratulations, Stephen Langley. The one he just got is he put the record that he was trying to set was the most number of people inside a soap bubble in 30 seconds. So, like you would stand in a ring and someone would lift up the big circle bubble maker around you. You got 13 people into a soap bubble in 30 seconds.
But here's the thing. That's
so impressive.
Is it? Because I don't even know. Like, if you're like, hey, because, okay, here's the thing. There's no point of relationship to that. If someone was like, hey, man, I'll give you 30 seconds and all the tools, how many people do you think you could put in a bubble? I'm like, I don't know, 12, 13? How am I supposed to know? Like, is that impressive? I have no idea because I've never attempted it.
Right.
You know what is impressive? Fingernails that are 2.5 feet long and curl, because I do know about that.
Agreed.
I know how long my nails are. I know how long everybody else's nails are. I have no idea how many people fit in a soap bubble. You could have told me 50 and I'd be equally unimpressed. I'd be like, I mean, sure, why not? It's a massive soap bubble. I mean, I have no idea.
That's a good point.
I've literally had no reason to ever attempt or even think about how many people would fit in a soap
And
bubble in 30
also,
seconds.
to be noted, you don't have a world record, and Stephen Langley's got 6.
Well,
so
I think the relevant podcast is close. Like most podcast hours recorded, released.
maybe.
I mean, 10 years,
It's
a couple
worth
hours a
looking
week.
into.
I mean,
Man,
what
2005. This is 19, man. This is 14 years. We're coming up on 14.
what could be
in
more?
August.
I mean,
I think Joe Rogan probably has
yeah,
it.
because
Joe Rogan probably has more hours because that guy
Oh,
has
right.
some
They go
long
They just
shows.
go 4 hours every day.
yeah, 4 hours a clip.
okay. Well, I'm out then. I
Yeah.
have no idea.
But most of it is him sitting there. Go, Jamie, can you find that clip?
Yeah.
Listen, there's a clip of this guy.
That's right.
There's a clip of this guy that walked away from a car accident after he hit
man.
5 deer. Can you, Jamie, pull up the clip, and then we're going to sit here
His
silently
ad
while I
reads are
watch
so
YouTube.
funny to me because they're like video games, meat mailed to your front door. It's like all these
that is true.
super
All his
dude ads.
Yeah. Listen, I'm going to talk to you about barely legal testosterone that I'm
Yeah,
synthetically manufactured that I'm buying.
Exactly.
Are you trying to be a better bow hunter? Okay.
Yeah.
I have just the product for you. Like, that's literally
Yeah,
it.
those companies are not calling That Sounds Fun with Annie F. Downs. Not once. No one's asking me to tell everybody that you can get meat mailed right to your door, the freshest red meat.
Yeah.
Joe
Although
Rogan
you know
does
it would
that.
be good.
My people would love it.
Yeah.
Your people would
Today's
love it.
episode is brought to you by Brain Juice. I'm jacked on this stuff, whether I'm training, whether I'm watching videos with Jamie, where I'm getting ready for UFC fight night, or cutting the sleeves off my affliction tees. Brain Juice. Offer code Rogan.
We just made him so much money.
I know.
All right. What do you have, Eddie?
Okay, as we are in this Lenten season and we prepare for Easter, what do you guys? How are you guys feeling about Easter? You ready for it? When you think of Easter,
When is it? I don't even know.
Oh my gosh, it's like only a week away. A week and a
I
half
think
away.
this Sunday's Palm Sunday, right?
Yeah, it's Palm Sunday.
Yes.
I love
I'm reading
Holy
at
Week.
church, you guys.
You're what?
wow.
You're reading?
I'm reading. Yes,
On Palm Sunday?
yeah, I go to like a very small Anglican church and I love
Yeah.
it, but like everybody has to volunteer. And so there's like me and 6 other people doing some special scripture reading thing.
Oh, that's
so
cool.
there you go. I love it.
Okay, yeah.
What are you
I
doing
love
on Palm
Palm
Sunday?
Sunday.
Anything?
I'm-
Preaching, I'm sure.
I am hosting at our church, so I'm doing kind of the intro, outro, spiritual direction-y kind of part.
Annie, I beg you to let me do that with you some week. That used to be my job at my old church, and
Yeah.
it is my wheelhouse.
I
was
love
very good at it.
It's so
Church
fun.
emceeing is the best.
Yeah,
I'll tell you what I think of, Eddie. I think of pastels. I think of my pink polo tucked into my yellow khakis and Sperry dockside sliders that I'm wearing to church.
Yeah,
And
people are
looking-
going to break out that seersucker. I'm ready for it.
Oh, yeah.
Well, according to Jesse's First Slice, what most people are thinking of with Easter is candy.
Yeah.
So as we look at Easter candy, a definitive list of the 10 worst Easter candies have come out. Normally, I shy away a little bit from these kind of lists unless there's hard science, but candystore.com got to be one of
Seems
the best.
like hard science. Who's going to know more than candystore.com?
I think it was co-branded with like Harvard. Candystore.com surveyed 23,000 people. So this is statistically significant.
That's a massive,
Yeah.
Of the 10 worst Easter candies. We all know, of course, let's just give away the punchline. The number one worst Easter candy
Don't say
is
Cadbury egg.
100%. It's the worst.
Peeps.
That's my favorite.
Peeps.
Okay. In 2015 they changed chocolate. Did that matter to you?
No.
You still love
Cadbury
them.
eggs are delicious. Can I
They're
tell a quick
delicious.
story about Cadbury eggs?
We can't stop you.
When I was in college, I had a friend down the hall. He was a little older. He worked at like a Rite Aid or something, And I went into his room one time, and he had literally a yard bag. You know, what are those yard bags? They're not just a garbage bag. I'm talking a yard bag, like the clear ones that are meant to handle, 15 pounds of leaves.
I'm really into wherever this
filled
story's
to the
going.
brim. Filled to the brim with Cadbury eggs.
Oh
He
my
said the
gosh.
Rite
Did he
Aid.
steal it?
He said the Rite Aid after Easter way overordered Cadbury eggs, and they're throwing them out. But like significantly overestimated the demand for Cadbury eggs this during the Easter season. And he's like, they were either throw them out or they said I could have them. I probably ate 7 or 8 Cadbury eggs a day for that semester, and it was amazing. It was amazing.
awesome.
I loved it. I still crave them. because of that.
I love them. I know.
Disgusting. Number 10 is fluffy stuffed cottontails. It's basically like cotton candy.
Oh, yeah, I don't even know it.
Number 9, Jordan almonds. You ever had these things?
Oh, yeah, they're great. At weddings
Yeah.
and stuff, sure.
Yeah, I'm surprised at how many of these I liked. Number 8, carrot cake Hershey Kisses. Number 7, I don't know if it tastes bad or if it's just the most messed up, but chocolate crosses. Like,
Yeah,
but it's kind
that's
of like,
sacrilegious.
I'm looking at a picture of it, and it's like not just a cross, but like a full crucifix.
You know who's
Yikes.
you know who's probably buying and eating those godless
Yeah.
Gen Zers. They're probably devouring them.
Yeah,
They left religion behind a long time ago.
generic jelly beans are on the list. Bunny corn, which is like candy corn reimagined with bunnies. Peeps came in at number 3. The
Listen,
solid
can we talk about Peeps for just a second? Because y'all remember their contest.
Yes.
There was a contest to go visit the Peeps factory.
Oh yeah,
I entered a few times. The contest closed yesterday. I've still got my fingers crossed that we're going to get to go, you guys.
No.
Annie, I really hope you do.
We all will.
So that's pretty much the whole slice. The only thing that I will say that was interesting is that among the top 10 favorite, there is only one repeat. What do you think it was? Well, there was
Reese's
one
eggs?
candy. There was one candy on both lists.
Oh, worst and
the
best.
worst.
Oh, best
Yes.
and the worst.
A polarizing candy.
Peeps.
Yeah.
Cadbury eggs. Made both lists. So
Yeah, of
people
course they
really love and really hate these things.
Yeah.
I will say the Cadbury mini eggs made number 1 on the most favorite. Have you ever had these things?
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
100%.
The crunchy, the little robin egg shells.
Crunchy, yeah.
Oh.
Not the robin eggs. The robin eggs are different than the little Cadbury eggs.
That's true. The little Cadbury eggs.
But the little Cadbury eggs, you're right, Jesse. You're still right. I know.
And I'm going to leave you with a hot Easter tip. Take those little Cadbury mini eggs, put them in the microwave for 2 seconds, then eat them. They turn into just like a soft, gooey center. It's
just
like,
put them in your mouth for 2 seconds. Why do you have to microwave it?
Just put it in your
why
mouth
do
and go like
you
this for
have
2
to shoot
seconds.
down my idea before you've tried it? Because it's the best idea you've never tried.
I don't think my microwave works for 2 seconds. I don't think it has
Just
time to
type-
heat up and cool down.
Type
Anyhow,
2.
that's
That's all you
ISIS.
have to do.
Yeah, just hit 2. or hit 2 minutes and just stand there and push start, stop
No,
real
I'm
quick.
going to hit 2 seconds, and then my microwave is going to open the door back to me and say, "We don't do that." That's what's going to happen. Is we don't do
It's like
that.
a real
Microwave,
snobby, bougie microwave.
Yeah, my microwave's like, "Who do you think you are?"
Wait, are you putting
Bougie.
candy in here for 2 seconds? Close my door right now.
Yeah, close my door and don't come back till you have a better idea.
Close your
Andy.
door and think about your life choices.
Oh, man.
All right, that'll do it for Slices. Stay tuned. Up next, Social Club Misfits joins us.
Drifting in the street like it's Tokyo. Bow wow challenge rappers lying like Pinocchio. Yeah, dancing in the club, do the electric slide. If you hate on Social Club, then you dead inside.
I want to thank you for listening to the Relevant Podcast this week. If you like the show, check out the other shows that we've recently launched. Wherever you get your podcasts, check out our daily recap of what's happening at the intersection of faith and culture. It's about a 10-minute show every weekday. It's called Relevant Daily. Search for Relevant Daily wherever you get your podcasts. It'll keep you in the know. It'll keep your finger on the pulse. Quick in and out. I think you'll like it. Also, check out Unedited with Cameron Strang, me. It's my long-form conversation podcast with people that I'm fascinated with. Right now, our brand new episode is with Abner Ramirez from Johnny Swim. It's getting a lot of feedback. It's a fascinating conversation. Definitely check it out.
Instagram, I responded with flex, but okay, fam. Yeah, caught a bird, that was God's will. Please don't call my phone, my voicemail is full.
Used to pick the phone up, now I seldom do. Unless it's mama with them babies, can I let you through?
You're listening to our next guest. It's Social Club Misfits. The song is Chinatown Freestyle. It's from their new EP, which you're about to hear about. Social Club Misfits just released a brand new EP called Mood, which serves as one half of their upcoming album, which explores the full spectrum of a relationship with God, from good seasons to ones of struggle and difficulty. We recently spoke with the rap duo, which is made up of Fern and Marty Marr, about the vision behind the new project and how they hope it will impact listeners. I'm a huge fan of Social Club Misfits, and I love this EP. Jesse, you talked to them. Tell us about it.
Yeah, it was really cool to kind of hear their heart behind the album, because they actually had a full album complete that they decided this isn't what we want to do. We want to do something that's more transparent and really is kind of vulnerable and open about the good side and also the bad side of a relationship with God. And so I asked them about that, why they wanted to do something that represents that spectrum. And here's what they said.
We want to be able to, with this next project, is create a full spectrum of a high and low of any relationship. So Mood speaks into that season of, like, you know, you're in the mountaintop, you're at the valley, or you're in the in between. And no matter where you are, God will meet you in that season that you're in.
One thing that they had talked about is, you know, the reason, the kind of the inspiration for this album to talk about the high and also talk about the lows was they were looking at their own career. You know, they've had a couple of successful albums. They've gotten, you know, success on mainstream charts. You know, they were on, you know, the Breakfast Club, but they're also were blowing up in kind of like more traditional Christian music scenes. And they won this Dove Award, which to them was a really big deal because it kind of showed that they had crossover success and kind of credibility. But right after that happened, like a bunch of stuff started falling through for them. Their A&R person left. They got a couple tours that they were planning on going on fell through, and it kind of caused them to re-examine their motivations, which were really kind of centered around some of these big typical success metrics. And so here's what they said about kind of re-examining that.
It was almost like coming to a crossroads of saying, hey, you know, piggybacking off the Dove situation, like, you know, you would think that would change a conversation just on paper. But then you come to a crossroads after winning some accolades, after getting on some lists, after getting a couple awards here and there, where you have to think, are you doing it for awards? Are you doing it for accolades? Or is this really a passion in your heart? Is something burning in your heart for these kids, for these people who are saying they're being touched by these songs? Me and Martin had to stare at each other and say, hey, man, is this what we're doing, and why are we doing it for? We said, you know what? We know why we're doing it for. And you know, the Lord really spoken to us in that season. I lost 3 family members. Martin had an aunt going through cancer at the time. The Marjorie Stoneman Douglas shooting had just happened. That's his alma mater. There was a lot of different things that were going on, kind of trying to shake our position. But as you see us being on this telephone, they weren't able to shake us. And we were able to just stand back up on our 2 feet and realize that, you know, we're a voice, and, you know, our voice, you know, transcends farther than just rap music. We were looking at the songs we were making. We're like, you know what? We need to worship here. We need to touch here. We need to speak on this here. And you know what? We did. And we stood firm in that. And in our creative process, it was a little bit different than normal, but we weren't scared of that. We weren't scared to stretch out a bit and to kind of just, you know, do things differently.
It was one thing about talking to them, and I've had the opportunity to talk to Fern and Marty a couple times over the years, is like, man, those guys are really passionate, not just about their artistry and their music. They really have a heart for making an impact. And, you know, and that's why they do what they do. And so that was something I kind of wanted to address directly with them about their calling, because I think it's easy in any industry, but particularly in, you know, something in the entertainment industry, to look at outward signs of success and accolades and really put value in them. But they really, you know, from their perspective, their calling is bigger than any of that. And here's what they said.
A lot of times we see kids that come up to us and say, hey, man, and they'll be shaking. They'll have cuts on their arms. I mean, all types of different scenarios we've seen. And we know that it's way bigger than us. And that's why this new work that we're about to put out, and the second one that's going to come out after that, is just dealing with all the tones and emotions that we went through to that season, but also it'll show perseverance and victory of us standing firm and working our way through it, trusting God.
Yeah, it was, like I said, just refreshing to hear people with that perspective. That, I know, obviously, Annie, you're someone who, is on a public stage a lot and gets to interact with a lot of people kind of in that world. And I'm sure I'm interested in your perspective on, kind of seeking that outward kind of measures of success, but also kind of keeping the perspective, like even one life, that's impacted matters.
Yeah. I actually don't abide by the if one life is impacted, it matters thing. Am I allowed to say that?
Yeah.
I think the work that we're called to do, if we were called to do it from, because we're called to do it from stages, it's got to be for more than one person.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so if it's only one person, I would do that work if God asked me to do it for one person. I think it's because it's from stages. It's not just for one person. I think that perspective is really important. It's one of the reasons I take an assistant with me everywhere, is because someone else seeing everything helps me keep perspective on, man, do you remember that story that woman told you? Or do you remember what that guy said when he walked up? Like, that's incredible. Like, God is doing amazing things in that person's life. And so my friends who travel with me help me remember those stories and those one moments that really matter. But I also love the moments on stage when you look out and you see a lot of people having a similar experience. Or it's the same with worship. If worship bands were going to churches just for one person, that'd be ridiculous.
Yeah. And I don't want to misrepresent what they say, because I guess it's not, just for one person, but not forgetting the one person, not forgetting the individual stories that are impacted. And that actually leads really well to the next clip, because I don't want to say they necessarily lost that perspective, but they recently had an interesting reminder of it. It was after a show, and the show hadn't gone great because there was issues with the promoter, and it just wasn't like a great night. And they actually had an interaction with a fan who came to them with his two kids and was dealing with a really difficult marriage situation and was trying to reconcile with his wife, and had told them personally how much their music meant to him during this season. And it really was a refresher, just like that perspective, Annie, of there's a sea of crowds, but each one of those has a story. Here's what they had to say about that interaction.
It's almost like every doubt that we had, where God was like, I see what you're going through. You're going to be fine. And I feel like that really speaks in the mood. Even in the season where you feel like you're doing the best, the season you're doing the worst, we have an ever-present God who's always there and always fighting for you and not forgetting you, and still knows you by name, and still knows your dreams, and still has created you with a purpose and a plan. And so that for me was just that weekend, just even thinking about it, really, it kind of humbled us heavily, and it made us thank you, God, for reminding us that you're still good.
Yeah, and that was just from one, kind of private interaction. That's why this project is so cool, because it does talk about the highs and the lows, the light and the dark. It's not all mountaintops. There's a lot of valleys, and it's not about necessarily even where you are in the process. It's how you're willing to navigate both of those. So definitely people need to check out Mood. It's killer. There is some fun tracks on it, but it's killer. And the next EP will be coming out in a few months too. It's always great to talk to the Social Club guys.
There you go. Check it out. The new EP is called Mood. It is out now. Stay tuned. Up next, Prop and Jamie Torkowski join us to talk about shoes.
Not running, all night running. Star-studded, not far from. We're running all night running. Cold-blooded, all night running.
Today's episode is also brought to you by Plant with Purpose. These people talk about taking care of the planet like it's a sacred calling. Because when we steward the earth, people thrive. And that's how we catch God's vision for when he called creation good. If we're not taking care of the planet, people suffer from poverty, hunger, climate change, and deforestation. This is a no-brainer. With your $22 a month, that's like a trip and a half to Chili's for Chandler. Plant with Purpose funds sustainable agriculture and deforestation reversal efforts in communities hit hardest by environmental challenges. Restoring the planet is one of the most effective ways to end poverty, and helping people is one of the most effective ways to protect the environment. So for just $22 a month, you can plant a small forest of empowerment. Learn more at plantwithpurpose.org/relevant.
Cold-blooded, all night running. Not running, all night running. Star-studded, not far from.
You're listening to Cage the Elephant and Beck. Song is Night Running. Okay, normally here is where we do our listener feedback, our listener week, whatever. But you guys have been hitting us up all week about the little the Instagram account that's taken our little bubble, our subculture bubble by storm. It's called Preachers and Sneakers. And what the point of it is, this guy started posting photos of, various younger preachers, like Chad Veach and John Gray, and there's a bunch of them. You can check it out. They're not that young. Yeah, and they're
These
wearing
are grown
like
men, Cameron.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
grown men.
Right. And they're wearing, flashy sneakers or whatever, or track pants or whatever. And then he'll zoom in on the item of clothing, and then he'll go to like StockX or a resale site and like show the street value or the resale value of the item, because they are sometimes egregious. And it started out about a week ago, and people were tweeting it around and talking about it, and it stirred up a big conversation about materialism, about apparel, about the cost of all this stuff and what it says from the pulpit. We've been watching the conversation. Obviously, we're pretty connected to it, and we wanted to bring it up in a more thoughtful way here on the show, because there's a lot of nuance to it, obviously, and it's something worth addressing. So we want to bring a couple of our friends on who have been in this conversation. Number one, I saw a tweet by Prop last night that I want to read. And it said, it was good.
It was late last night.
That's why we brought you here, Prop. We're just going to start reading your tweets.
It was one of those late night tweets.
Prop posted two things. He said, one of the most hurtful things for me as a public speaker is when my motives are assumed to be something they're not, when people think the worst of me based on the little they know, which is why I ain't on the pastor's shoe game thing. Then he said, now, if you want to run a critique about consumerism and idolatrous relationship with capitalism, I'm here for that, but miss me with the shaming accounts. And then on the others, and then also I've been watching
you hear that, Amy? You know what I'm saying?
I like it.
Okay, good. Anyway, sorry.
But then I saw, our friend Jamie Torkowski. Welcome, Jamie, by the way.
Hi.
Has been in the comments. He's been in
You
there,
are prolific, man.
And he's been screenshotting his comments and posting his comments, and he's just like, he rolled up his sleeves and just jumped in the mud with everybody. And so we just thought it'd be fun to have Jamie and Prop on. Annie called me a week ago at 11 o'clock at night and saying, did you see this account? And we talked for an hour about it, because this is a conversation that needs to be had. And so we figured we'd bring it up today. Welcome, guys. So
I also knew you'd be watching Real Housewives of Atlanta, so I knew it was a safe time to call.
Yeah.
I knew you weren't busy.
Okay, first of all, you said, I'm sorry for interrupting Real Housewives, and I told you it happened to be Atlanta that I was watching at that time. But anyway.
Hanging out.
I knew the timing was safe. We have a good friendship at about 10 p.m.
Hanging out with my Gucci gang, watching Real Housewives.
I think this
Can't wait to hear your thoughts on this.
Yeah, this disqualifies you for the conversation.
So, Jamie, I told Jesse, I was like, Jamie's a sneakerhead. When Jamie and I go to any basketball game, this has been for years. You know, I'll notice shoes from time to time. I enjoy Nikes. I have a lot of Nikes, but Jamie literally looks at and comments on the shoes of every player on the court. Like literally is like, oh, look, Wes Iwundu is rocking the so-and-sos. And I'm like, okay, they're fluorescent. That's all I noticed, And so Jamie's in it. So I thought it was interesting, Jamie, when you jumped in on this. Tell us your thoughts about this account and kind of your experience, because you've even been talking to the guy who's behind the account.
Yeah. Well, a couple of things come to mind. First off, I feel exhausted from spending the last 3 days in there. And man, I feel like when I stumbled upon it, it just gave a voice to something that has bothered me for the last few years. And it was like, wow, somebody is talking about this. And there's been too many comments, too many debates. I feel a little better about a couple longer posts that I shared on my own page, but I just think it's incredibly confusing and at times offensive, especially for people who struggle financially, when these pastors, whose job, as I understand it, is to point people to Jesus, who had plenty to say about pride and money and power and humility and treasures. It's just incredibly confusing if the guy is wearing Gucci or if the guy is wearing a $1,500 outfit. And it took me a couple of days to be willing, I think, to put myself in the boat with them and to just kind of say, hey, maybe there's a deeper conversation about motivation and insecurity and vulnerability and why do we do what we do? Why do we own what we own? So I feel like I fumbled my way through it, but it feels healthy to kind of land there, or it feels healthier to just say we all get to wrestle with, why do I own what I own? Why do I wear what I wear? Who am I trying to impress?
Jamie's post that you just referenced, I'm going to read it since I read Prop's tweet that caught my eye. He said, this is a comment he put in the feed, and then he just reposted it as well on his own feed. And it said, I'm saying it's gone too far. These dudes are examples to hundreds of thousands of people. The most influential group of young pastors in America shouldn't be another exclusive cool kids table. The clothes highlighted on this account double as trophies. These dudes want to be rock stars while supposedly pointing people to a Jesus who had plenty to say about money, pride, humility, etc. In short, a pastor in Gucci is offensive and confusing to a person who isn't sure they can pay for lunch, especially when that pastor got his Gucci status by representing Jesus. And what I thought was interesting about what you said, which is a very harsh critique, and then contrasting it with what Prop said about saying a lot of times, we're making big judgments about people, based on our own bias or our own perspective. I thought it was an interesting thing just to see the two sides of it. And that's why I think this is such a hard conversation, because there are people who see this as black and white. I mean, literally, like, there's a line and this is over that line. I mean, but if you go back to Jesse and I were talking about this, there's a reason why Catholic priests wear black clothes, black robes. There's a reason why they were, committed to celibacy, because back in the medieval times, if a priest or got married to a family of means or power, it would compromise the gospel. So they said, we don't want the propriety of material power or wealth associated with the ministry. So you need to stay single. And then you need to dress this way so there's nothing that distracts people from Jesus. That's the extreme on one side of it. And then on the other side, you have prosperity gospel preachers with jets. Yeah. And so it's kind of like, where's the right model here? Because I think it's societal. I think there's cultural bias. Prop, your perspective is different than Jamie's, which is different than the guys who are on stage, which I don't know what the right answer is here, and I would love to hear what y'all think about all this.
But see, here's the thing. My perspective is actually not different from Jamie's in this sense. Right. Is if what he's saying is in fact what's going on in the hearts of these people, and I want to make sure that we humanize the people we're talking about, and I think that that's part of the problem. We've created caricaturers out of celebrity, which has more to do with our own hearts. You know what I'm saying? So I want to remember that these aren't I have these guys, some of these guys, I have their phone numbers. These are dads, you know what I'm saying? Right. So I want to remember that I'm talking about people, right? So that's number one. And then number two, I'm saying in the part that I agree with him is if in fact that's what's going on, if they are commingling funds, if you are spending, church money to buy clothes for the purpose of a flex or the purpose of a stunt, to create a cool kids table, then I'm like, you're absolutely correct. I'm just saying I can't discern that from this account in the sense that, because if that's the case, I'm guilty of the same thing. Every time I show up with a cup of coffee, my single Lord and Yurgashef, geisha, that was a $12 cup of coffee. Yeah, that's not $1,500. You understand what I'm saying? But it's $12. You understand what I'm saying? So I'm like, so we can't just say because the ticket price is so much bigger, I might struggle. I might have the same sin. It's just happening with $12 rather than with $1,200.
I have a question. So we're talking about, there's two lanes here, in my opinion. The lane of, did they spend the money on, and, these things for status? The reality of, I would say probably 3/4 of the people on the account I know personally. And I know that because I've talked to them about it, they didn't buy those items. They were gifted those items either by the company or by a friend, and they didn't buy them. Now they are wearing them. So the question is, is it a dollar amount thing that is offensive? Like, if you can buy Nikes for $90 on sale, it's okay. But if you buy them for $250, it's not. Are we talking about a dollar amount thing? Or are we talking about what the item or the impact that the item has on the congregation or the people looking? That's.
I was going to say, because at what extent is perception reality, right? And like at what to what extent is it doesn't really matter if it's gifted or if it was bought, like on a discount or whatever. At what point is it that, from the pulpit and to an extent as all believers, are a lot of times people won't be able to get to know us personally. And Annie, it's like what you were saying about earlier. A lot of people, the fact is, a lot of people that have a public platform, the only way most people are going to interact with you is how you present yourself on that platform. So at what point does fighting a perception of, this kind of like expensive appareled exclusiveness actually create a perception that it doesn't really matter what the reality is because the perception is counter to one that should be pursued.
Mm-hmm. But I think there's a couple of things here. Like first, there's something a little bit that we have to appreciate that it may, like these pastors are in a different place in the United States where different things matter. Like most of us who are like mainly on this show are all like in the South where housing prices are totally affordable. It's just a different kind of world. And I'm not saying it's better or worse, but I'm saying the idea of buying a pair of $500 shoes in like, I don't know, Los Angeles may be different than in Orlando. Like, I think that there's got to be some, I guess Prop is on this, he could say that, but like, there's got to be some like room for, there's just a different culture, right?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say too. It's like the flex is not always what you think it is, in the sense that I live in the coast, I live in, 10 miles from Hollywood, and without over spiritualizing, there's a reality of like, as an artist and as a believer, there are certain things that just like, if God has just given me this mission field, in the sense that like, I don't know if I asked for it, I'm just in this room. There are signals in the same way that if somebody's going to be missional, you go into German, you better speak German. You go into Germany, you better speak German. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, I found that like that celebrity world, that high type, the A-list world, there's certain things that you just not gonna get in the room. You know what I'm saying? If there's rooms I can't get in because I don't wear watches. You know what I'm saying? There's like a whole code about what watch you got, and you know what I'm saying? So I just think that like you said, there are things that like people are willing to spend their money on that just may not be one or two. Most of us, and even in the LA thing, it's like a lot of us have really small houses because you're never inside. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So when I walk into the South, I'm like, what you got 7 rooms for? Like, this is so gaudy. Like, what are you doing? You understand what I'm saying? Right. So it's like the flex just shows up differently. Which again, the bigger conversation is one thing.
Are they actually flexing?
Yeah. I'm just saying, how you going to discern that from an Instagram post that's clearly designed? I'm like, you're trying to shame them. Right, you're not trying to have a conversation. You're trying to shame them.
Loafers with feathers hanging off that are connected with a gold ring and a tiger and a Gucci tiger embroidered on the It does seem like a flex.
That guy loves being on this. He loved being on it. He was waiting for it.
They look ridiculous. Like, those are ridiculous shoes. You know
just admit.
Well, I heard that one was a joke.
Those are objectively ridiculous.
But like, I feel like I would want to personally like chat. Like, if I was like Rich Wilkerson's friend, be like, hey, are you doing okay? Like, let's talk about this. But you know what I mean? Like, I think it's worth having the conversation. The problem to me with this is the public shaming piece to it.
Yeah.
Because like it's like, if, let's say, worst case scenario, they're using the church budget to create a clothing budget, and they are spending $1,000 out of a single mom's tithe to buy those shoes, right? That's our worst case scenario. It's shocking, right? And by the way, a lot of your pastors have church clothing budgets, even if you think they don't. Like, there are little tiny churches in Orlando that I know about where there is a clothing budget so that the pastor can look cool. So like, don't think
hold on. So the pastor can look cool is even a bit of a shaming language. It's not so the pastor can look cool. It's so that he has stage clothes so that he looks appropriate as a teacher.
this pastor wants to look cool, but yes, I know what you're saying, and you're right. So, like,
well, don't come on here and have an anti-shaming conversation when you're using shaming language.
Is it shaming
No, that's a
just
good
to
point.
like show pictures of people that they reposted from their own Instagrams? Like, is that shame? Like, you know, I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, you're
what's
right.
shameful
You're right.
about
And in the
that?
sense
Like,
that,
do you have a clothing budget? I have a clothing budget for stage clothes.
I absolutely do.
Yeah.
Now, granted, people would say I'm not a pastor.
Right. No one's tithing into my
nobody's
clothing
tithing
budget.
into my clothing budget. So that's what I'm saying. So what I'm saying is you can't discern that from this in the sense that a person puts up something on their Instagram. Of course, you're open to critique, but the part that bothers me, the part that I related to is, of course, it's like, I personally, I don't see any purpose. I'm not a sneakerhead. So it's like I spend my money different ways. There are 17 bags of coffee that I'll never finish in my house right now. You know what I'm saying? So I spend money other ways. But what the thing to me is that you if you do it in a way that the person, there's enough ambiguity to be like, what do you mean shaming? They put this on the thing. You could draw your own conclusion. These are just the prices. Who knows what they're doing? You mad, bro? Why are you mad? So to me, it's like that. Cause I guess cause I've been the victim of that to where you could just kind of I'm just saying, that's just what you said. So draw your own conclusion. I'm just like, man, look, okay. If you want to have this conversation, like, come up from behind this like anonymous gram and just say something. You understand what I'm saying? Just speak up then. If you want to talk about it, talk about it. You understand what I'm saying? To me, that's the part that's bothersome. It's not so much the bigger conversation, which of course should absolutely happen. And I'm like, and how all of us got blood on our hands. Just this idea of just this consumerism, the celebrity, like it's us calling them celebrities. Yeah. Not them. They not calling themselves celebrities. We calling them celebrities. You understand what I'm saying? And we made them that. You know, these people got TV shows. Who told them to get TV shows? Somebody offered it to them. So what I'm saying is like, we made them celebrities. Like we can't be mad at them at what we made them. You know, so to me, it's like, that's the conversation.
But I would add that.
Yeah, Jamie, I was going to ask you, Jamie, you've talked to the guy, right? So what is his anonymous thing?
Oh, I mean, he said he made this account half joking for him and his buddies. Like he had no idea. Funny. I mean, the Today Show,
I take it all back.
Like he's been invited on the Today Show. This is blowing his mind. I actually think he's handled it really well, and I actually respect his desire. Obviously, if he goes on the Today Show, he won't be anonymous, but I don't blame him. The thing I was going to add to Prop's point is, my take is most of these guys, like I understand that you can't, it's tricky to make a judgment on one, but most of these guys, when you go to their account, it does feel like they are fueling the celebrity. It's all them. It's almost always designer clothes. It's videos with text. It's sexy design. Like
I totally agree with that.
They're fueling this as well. And there's a part of me that thinks we're meeting them where they are and we're playing their game. These guys love attention. They love Instagram. And I actually think it's brilliant that we're reposting or that someone is reposting their photos. Like this doesn't require detectives. It's like just shining a light on the reality of this is what you're wearing on stage and this is how much it costs. And the one other point is, I understand that it's messy. I understand that people take it too far. I understand the shaming question, but I don't know another way that this conversation would be happening on the level it's happening without this account. And that's the part I love.
Yeah,
I agree with that.
But won't they sort themselves out? Like if they're not for real, if this whole thing is just like some celebrity sham, like won't their pastoral role at some point be sorted out in a way other than an Instagram moment like this? Like I feel like if they're not for real, this like that will be revealed somehow.
But
some way.
I don't think anyone's accusing them of not being for real. I think it seems like part of the commentary is look how easily even people that are professional pastors and have intimate knowledge of the gospel can, present themselves in a way that may cause perceptions in culture that they might not want association with. I think all of them sincerely believe the gospel and are passionate about, reaching people. But I think, I don't know if I think at some point people with a public platform, it's easy to lose a degree of self-awareness, especially when you're surrounded by, people who are followers or fans or things. And I think this is almost like, a way of kind of to show what public perception is for people that may not, fully have the degree of self-awareness that maybe they once had because of their position.
Yeah, I think that the bubble thing is a real thing. I mean, if, one of the guys is pastoring in Hollywood and he's hanging out with very stylish people in Hollywood, he dresses like that. And in that context, it isn't flashy. It isn't his outfit on stage isn't standing out from his congregation. It's just kind of part of that cultural context. And then somebody from another part of the country or world looks in and says, what? You lose that degree of self-awareness. I think this is interesting. I think what's going to happen, my 2 cents is that probably this is a blip on the radar, remember the Save Your Barbie account and whatever. It's a flavor of the week and, whatever. But it's stirring up a conversation that it'll be interesting to see who is teachable, who is listening, who says, you know what, I don't want to cause somebody to stumble. I'm going to course correct a little bit here. But
also I think the rest of us who are not featured on that account also need to learn from this. A lot of what Prop is saying of like, hey, this was funny for a while. Also, I have been making some real assumptions about the hearts of these men. And I actually don't have I do not know a single one of those dudes placed up there. But I have made some real assumptions before this account and thanks to this account. And I'm readjusting that and going like, man, I'm assuming a lot of flex when no flex has been necessarily said.
And flex is relative, like Cameron was saying. It's like I've been in some of these rooms with like the super A-list where you walk in and it's like, hey, here's star here. There's espresso over here on that table. There's cocaine over there. You want to go do a couple lines? You know what I'm saying? It's just like this world that you're in. I was at
Catalyst too, and it was wild.
It's crazy. Man, I'm telling you, man, those pastors, they can snort. Boy. But in the sense that like their outfits, some of these dudes' outfits, as far as we're looking at it, is like, I can't believe you spent that, are like mid-grade, Marshall's outfits compared to some of the people they're standing in front of. But I would say this, like me being the West Coast representative in the group, my sort of like Hollywood antennas do perk up. I use them often, just being from the city. We've seen pastors come and go here. We've seen people say, God has called me to Hollywood. Like, oh, really? You know what I'm saying? And those lights can be very hypnotizing. And I feel like oftentimes I could smell it on somebody if I'm like, you like this a little too much. You know what I'm saying? And generally because of just maturity, I keep those cards to myself. But I've definitely sat in front of some pastors here and there where I've been like, I don't know, fam. I think you ain't gonna last, bro. You like this too much, and this might just be, these are just my antennas. It's just my spidey senses, but I can't, they haven't been wrong yet. You know what I'm saying? But they could be. So I want to grant that the possibility of the worst is absolutely there. I just still feel like you just can't discern it from the Instagram account.
But that's to Eddie's point earlier. I mean, it's like time will tell. The heart will be revealed. And my thing is like, again, this is an opportunity for us, the larger, American church, to talk about this, and for leaders to choose to listen or not, and them to think about it as well. And it really does, in my opinion, come down to a heart thing. It isn't, did he buy the shoes? Because I'm telling you, 99% of them are gifted.
Did not.
Yeah. And so it's like, then the question is more, nuanced than just did he waste the church's money? Because that's actually probably not happening the way that the assumption is. And so it's like, well, then it's a nuanced thing. It is a heart thing. It is a perception thing. What is it saying? And is it getting in the way of the gospel? That is a question. And so, let's have that conversation. Let's wrestle with it. And it is an individual thing too. There's no line. I mean, there's no like, okay, well, pastors can spend up to $150 on their shoes. Because if you're wearing a suit and dress
Jamie,
shoes.
I saw Jamie, you made a comment like that on Instagram. I was like, that's right. Like, I've loved seeing your work in that Instagram account, Jamie.
Yeah. I mean, because suits cost money, and these guys are wearing jeans and t-shirts, and they put their money into the sneakers. So it's like,
like shut all of our Instagram accounts because the church in China that's not allowed to exist. You understand what I'm saying? Like we're all flexing then. Every time you post, the fact that you have an Instagram account is a flex. So I'm like calibrate. You feel me? Like this is a super first world discussion here.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That you just judging them because they're in a higher group than yours, but there's a group under you that's looking at your account saying the same thing.
Right.
And in addition, I feel like if there is actual like sin happening here, like if the worst case scenario is happening and these people that are on the accounts are just recklessly spending poorly, and it is just clearly like sin on display. I'm not saying it is, but let's say it is. Like, I would hate to be called out on my Instagram, like, right? Because I've got my own stuff, like I'm overweight. Okay. So clearly I'm living outside of God's best plan for what he hoped for my body. Right. So are people allowed to just like repost me on another account because like my sin is on display? Like, oof. I still wouldn't want that. So it's like, you gotta be careful, man, about like shame. Like, I feel like the social media calling out of sin is a pretty dangerous thing because I don't know where it stops and it's hard to know how it helps.
The plank in the eye thing, right? I mean, it's
I've never heard that.
I think that's a good point too. But again, like I also think accountability in ways that sometimes is funny or sometimes is
satire is a gift.
And it's reasonably.
And I sure thought, I wonder how these guys are going to dress on Sunday. Like I certainly thought that.
Totally.
Oh, I would own it if I was
Don't change
double
a thing.
down.
I hope they're wearing. I hope they're carrying their other shoes in a clear backpack.
A clear
Here's my
Gucci
24
backpack.
karat gold shoes.
Jamie, I know that you probably have a relationship with some of these guys, or at least have run into them here and there. What is and you have? I've seen like a lot of different takes from you, kind of in the comments. What do you think? In terms of like the ideal outcome of something like this, of having an impact on some of these individuals that do wield a ton of influence in culture. What do you kind of hope maybe the outcome would be in terms of how it would alter their possible perception?
I actually don't know these guys. I know Cameron does, and he's shared that. I got a text out of the blue yesterday from Carl Lentz, and I'm going to talk to him today. And he's been nothing but kind to me, but we really don't know each other. And so I thought it was really cool that he cared enough to reach out. And obviously the conversation hasn't happened yet, but I plan to listen and hopefully he will. And, even that alone is interesting when you have even a fraction of a relationship with someone, how it does change things. And, but my hope is that it makes them think and that it makes all of us think. And like Cameron said, the course correction, I hope some guys will just think about how these clothes, and you could certainly expand it beyond clothes, but just how our behavior, how the things we own, how the things we post and show off make other people feel. Because to me, I think that's what's getting lost here is it's less about how much money are they allowed to spend and even where did the money come from, and just more, if someone is watching you online and they can't pay their rent and you're wearing a Gucci shirt talking about the teachings of Jesus, isn't that just incredibly confusing? And we keep talking about rooms these guys are getting in, and in a way everyone cheers for that, but I'm actually thinking about the person who feels like they can't get into any room, and the church just becomes another room that they can't get in. They can't fit in. They're not cool enough.
So good. Yeah.
Come on, Jamie Twerkowski.
I mean, boom, bang, pow.
Seriously, man. That's the thing is like, what does my lifestyle, how does it impact others? You know,
Do y'all feel differently
I
about
just-
the pictures that are reposted from their own accounts and the ones that are screenshot from them teaching?
No, because they wore. I mean, to me, they're wearing the clothes publicly to be seen. It's not like
It is
people
what
are
it
peeking
is,
in
yeah.
the windows of their homes. They're wearing those.
Yeah.
They're wearing them on stage with the intention of being seen by thousands of people.
Yeah.
Right. That's what I
I
didn't
feel
know if
much
you,
more
if
way.
one was,
Yeah.
Go, sorry,
I feel no, you with it. I feel like with along with what Jamie is saying, because I have to think about it too. As like, I'm not a pastor, but I'm a public figure, so I think about it often. Like times with my children, beautiful California sunset. You know what I'm saying, and all these things that like, you're right. Am I presenting a world that's inaccessible to others? Right. So like. With that, like, I feel one way about what you're wearing on stage, which is like, yo, this is my Sunday's best. You know what I mean? We've been given these things. This is amazing. And then the other way, if I feel like if some of these dudes are posting pictures of their home and inside of their home where it like, yo, that looks like a photo shoot, fam. Like in that sense, to me, that kind of makes me cringe a little more towards what Jamie is saying, where I'm like, man, you at the park, bro. You at the park in these Huaraches? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, come on, fam. Like, really? You got a Gucci belt while you're pushing your gorgeous children on a swing and your wife's hair is flipping in the hair? Like, come on, bro. Like, to me, it's like now you're presenting a world that I'm like, okay, fam, like, I need you to be a little more self-aware. You know what I'm saying? So to me, that I get that same sort of reflexive like response that Jamie would get, not from the stage stuff, but more the like,
Same.
you
That's how I
showing me
feel
this
too.
background world. And I'm like, your background world is like, for real, homie? Man, that's a nice Basquiat painting you got in your house. You know what I'm saying?
It's interesting. Like I said, it's nuanced and it's tough.
Yeah.
But that really is the question for all of us in our individual lives too. Like what are we projecting? What are we, what is the impact that we have in our worlds? Are we pointing people to Christ? Are we loving selflessly? Are we loving intentionally? Are we living in a way that we believe whatever our conviction is and our context is, uplifts the gospel and points people to Jesus? I mean, whether you're on stage or you're just, in your small town, what kind of impact are you having? And what do people,
Because you're on a stage. Everywhere you are. If you have an Instagram account, if you're out in public, you're on a stage.
Right.
It just may not have a microphone on your face.
Yeah.
Right. And so like, to me, that's the wake up call. Like I watch that and I'm like, well, I can't identify with that, or I don't have those sneakers or whatever. But like, yeah, it's like a reality check for all of us that like, okay, in our individual lives, what are we doing, or are we guilty as well? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I pray for these guys, like the Bible says to pray for our leaders and our government leaders and stuff. I pray for our church leaders. Like Relevant's been around 19 years now, and I kind of had this thing. I came up under the prosperity gospel. I'm watching the televangelists and the flashy and the Benny Hinn's and all that stuff, and I'm just like, that doesn't play in the four corners of the globe. That gospel, something's off. You know what I mean? Like it just doesn't. That me-centered, what I'm going to get from God kind of message doesn't play. That doesn't check out to me. And I'm like, well, this generation will be different. And by and large it is. It's like, I mean, the values of this generation of living intentionally and selflessly and outwardly, and it's not about what I can get from God, but it's what God can use me to do. That is true. There is a kind of a shift in the church. But I'm wondering, as Andy and I talked last week, I'm wondering, like, is this just our version of the flashy suits?
Yeah. That's what I was going to say. Yeah. It's like, now having said that,
it's the
check
same,
out these single run.
That's what I'm
you know
saying.
Air
That's what I'm saying.
Maxes.
So my assumption, I mean, I'm going to go back to it 3-4 years ago. You and I spoke when there was a lot of like racial violence going on in America, and the Black Lives Matter conversation was front and center. You came on the podcast and you let me ask you stupid white guy questions. And I told you that I was ignorant to the reality of what was going on, because I assumed we were a post-racism generation. I assumed that like, oh, white kids grew up on hip hop. There's not the division that the older generations had. You know what I mean? And here I was confronted with the reality of my ignorance, that is not true, that the racism is deeply rooted in this generation as in previous ones. And I was wrong. And I'm wondering that my assumption about the prosperity gospel, like, oh, no, this generation, different values, it's not the same thing. And then this account kind of holds up a mirror and I'm going, maybe I was wrong. It's just a different style, And like, maybe this is a reality check that we need to have collectively about this generation of believers saying, have we repeated the mistakes of our forefathers or our parents and didn't even realize it because it's a different style? It's more casual.
Yeah, we can't help but swim in the ocean that we're in. We're in an ocean of consumerism and capitalism. This is just our ocean. So in my mind, it's like that. Now that's the question. Let's talk about this waters we're in. Right. Yeah. And I feel like I don't know anybody ready to talk about that yet, though. That like maybe capitalism wasn't God's will for creation. You ready for that one? You ready for that? Yeah. Okay. Hang up the phone now. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, let's ask that. You feel me? Which is at the end of the day, what we're driving at. It's like the idea that objects prove God's like approval of you is like, are we ready to talk about that? Because if not, then the little the next gen, whoever's after us, I don't know what they called.
Gen Z.
Yeah. It's just going to show up in tech with a robotic girlfriends. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, here's my AI girlfriend.
I think
flex.
we've really walked this path now. I think we've got it.
Yeah. Robotic girlfriends, everybody. That's the fallout of
That'll do it.
On that note.
Hey, well,
Wait, what's after Generation Z? Does it start over?
Oh no, it just falls off the ledge, man.
It has to be post second Civil War generation.
No, it's like the hurricane names.
Some point
It's back up.
Rob,
some
you're
point we're
ruining
gonna
my
have
Tuesday, man. Yikes.
Just talking about shoes, man.
Yeah, I thought we were here to talk about shoes, Rob.
The good of all this, the good of this account and things like this is that it stirs this conversation. I'm glad we're having it. I hope you all listening are having it too. I mean, it's a nuanced thing. It's a heart thing.
Yeah.
It's tough. And I think we need to grapple with it collectively. Yeah. And so, I'm glad you guys came on. Thanks for joining us, Prop, Jamie.
Yep.
Appreciate your leadership in this conversation. I appreciate that you're using your platforms to have this conversation. And it's important. I'm glad to call you guys friends and you came on.
As a show of appreciation, you will each be nailed.
one pair of Yeezys.
Yeah, one.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
But only if you'll wear them on your Instagram.
Only if you wear them on stage. That's the deal.
Jamie, love is actually written on my arm right now. That's how much you mean to me.
Oh, man. That's dope.
That's beautiful.
All right. Thanks, guys.
All right, guys.
Whoa.
Yeah.
It's a lot to digest there.
That was good, though.
Yeah.
That was good.
It was good.
Whew.
Are we still talking about that Easter candy list, or are we talking about the show conversation?
You mean Cadbury was on the top and the bottom?
Hey,
Wild, isn't it?
You know what I thought when I saw? I am going to start a business. It's rent a swag for pastors. It's for up and coming.
Oh, God. Jesse.
They might not be able to afford those off-whites, but they can rent them from me just for Sunday morning. So it's rented.
I mean, for all the things you say out loud, what goes on in your head that you don't say out loud? That's the part that's terrifying.
Oh, you don't. It's a very dark, mysterious place. The depths of which have not been fully explored.
Many thanks to Jamie Torkowski and Prop for joining us. You find them on Instagram and follow them. They're good dudes. Thanks also to Social Club Misfits for joining us. Marty and Fern, they're awesome guys. Their new EP, Mood, is out now. Go get it. Support good art. I love it. And thanks to World Vision for making the episode possible. Remember, the Global 6K for Water is May 4th. Annie's going to be running it with some women's conference. We're going to be running it here in Orlando.
I didn't say I was going to be running it. I said they were having one.
Yeah.
You've made an assumption.
You are participating.
You assumed a flex that I did not say.
You are. Hey, you can walk or run it. You can push a stroller. Just participate.
Right.
I will be full
Push a
sprint. I will be full sprinting in.
What on earth?
I'm going to win it. That's what I'm saying.
It's May 4th. It's coming up in about 3-4 weeks.
May the 4th be with you.
Yeah. May the 4th be with all the children getting clean water.
Yeah.
Our whole team's running it. Go to worldvision6k.org and find out how you can get involved. Do it.
I bought a brand new pair of Yeezy Boost runners just for this, and they'll be thrown into the garbage after they're worn once because who wants?
I'm going to run in Gucci loafers, so I'm just figuring.
Why wouldn't you? Yeah, so comfortable.
All right. On that note, we'll wrap things up. I'm Cameron Strang.
Chandler String.
I'm Jesse Carey.
I'm Eddie Koffoltz.
And I'm Annie F. Downs.
We will see you on Friday. Have a good week, everyone.
I used to listen to the radio, but I've got an army of voices in my head. Voices in my head. We used to live in stereo, but I've got an army of voices in my head.
for listening to the Relevant Podcast. If you like what you heard, be sure to leave us a review on iTunes. Check out other shows from the Relevant Podcast Network in the podcast section at relevantmagazine.com. And while you're there, browse exclusive podcast merchandise at our online store. Make sure to subscribe to Relevant Magazine. Info is available at relevantmagazine.com/subscribe.
And I used to listen to the radio, but I've got an army of voices in my head. Voices in my head. We used to live in stereo, but I've got an army of voices in my head. Voices in my
Today's episode is brought to you by Brain Juice. I'm jacked on this stuff, whether I'm training, whether I'm watching videos with Jamie, where I'm getting ready for UFC Fight Night, or cutting the sleeves off my affliction tees.
Relevant Podcast Network.
Time is precious, and so are our pets. So time with our pets is extra precious. That's why we started Dutch. Dutch provides 24/7 access to licensed vets with unlimited virtual visits and follow-ups for up to 5 pets. You can message a vet at any time and schedule a video visit the same day. Our vets can even prescribe medication for many ailments, and shipping is always free. With Dutch, you'll get more time with your pets and year-round peace of mind when it comes to their vet care.
Go to Dutch.com to get vet care that is always there for just $92 a year.